Hello, channel subscribers. Today I'm going to tell you about a man who called the world after the fall. One day a tower appeared in the heart of the city. Although people thought it was the apocalypse, the tower attracted them. Those who possessed the power and earned the right to confront the tower were nicknamed Wanderers of the Tower. A certain object, the Turning Stone, appeared before the tower's conquerors. It is a stone that allows anyone who touches it to turn back time and return to the tower now of challenge. At first, people had two choices, to resurrect or to die, but now there is a chance to return. In addition, many wanderers chose to return, as returning to the past allowed them to compensate for their mistakes and failures. So did our main character, Ewan. Climbing to the 99th floor, he faced the main enemy alone, the dragon. In the next chapter, we are shown the past, where the protagonist tries to steal chips from the store. But at that moment, a tower appears in the city. We also see that towers begin to appear in many countries, England, Japan. People give them a name, Mosquito Tower. To each of the people, the tower sends a notice if the person wants to become a wanderer of the tower. If a person agreed to the terms, they automatically entered the tower and were supported by the interface system, became able to acquire skills and items, as in the game, but quickly realized that this is not a game. After a while, people were introduced to tower influence and attacked by monsters from the tower. 1/3 of the population was wiped out, and the people inside had only to watch helplessly. Those with special skills became the last hope for all humanity. To stop the extermination, the Wanderers set out to conquer the tower. A team of 4 Wanderers, led by Commander H. Wang Yinshan, destroys the stall and find the turnstone behind it. H. Wang Yinshan takes advantage of the situation and goes back in time. Former scientist Sakamoto puts forward the theory that the current situation is a state in which the temporal branches of the universe are divided. That is, when H. Wang Yinshan went to the past, the worlds were divided. The only thing the characters know is that he definitely went back in time. Meanwhile, the second tower influence takes place. The Wanderers had a choice, use the stone and travel to the past or die. Many used the stone, but there were people who did not rely on the stone and wanted to protect the present rather than the past. This was a death squad called Carpe Diem. A death squad fights the monster and defeats it. After the battle, they check each other to see if they are all in one piece. Checkwin finds an item, the sword of a real dragon. It is the sword of the master of the 85th floor, possessing the energy of the sun and the moon. After climbing to the 98th floor, the hero enters the room of flaming jade. In battle, Chaewon is defeated and thinks about whether it was all worth it. At one point, Yunwen, who rushes in to attack the flaming jade, hails him. Jade kills Yunwen. Taking advantage of Jade's distraction from Yunwen, Chaewon uses his weapon and applies a skill that kills Jade. Chaewon approaches the half-dead Yunwen, who is holding the stone, but it is too late. Chaewon recalls that Yunwen was nicknamed the Lucky Knight, as the smile on his face never went away. Chaewon leaves Yunwen and goes up to the top floor to finish the game. He enters the permafrost room. Chaewon begins to wade through blocks of ice and meets an ice dragon. It turns out that 10 years have passed since Chaewon arrived on the 99th floor. For 10 years, he has been fighting the final boss, the ice dragon Velkaizos. Chaewon realizes that had it not been for the items collected on the journey to the final floor, namely the dragon sword, the ice armor, and the Fire King's bracelet, he would not have survived. The next scene sends us back in time, where Chaewon sits in the blacksmith shop and drinks while chatting with Blacksmith Jay. The people live in Atopos, a village founded after the destruction of the dragon Altaminos, the boss of the 50th floor. Every day there were more and more dead, but the people didn't give up hope. The priests organized a rescue team, and the remaining blacksmiths mended equipment free for the heroes. They got into a conversation about the fact that there were not many blacksmiths left in the village, and there were too few mending materials coming in, as many were dead. Jay tells Chaewon that Grandma Hearn is missing. Jay and Hearn are among the few wanderers of the auxiliary class. It is learned that people in the tower do not age, and 2 things explain their disappearance: they either used the stone or jumped from the tower. Chaewon asks Jay to teach him blacksmithing skills, and we are transported back to the present. Chaewon and Velkaizos have a conversation in which the dragon acknowledges the strength of the man and Chaewon rushes at him. Fighting the dragon, Chaewon takes heavy damage. Velkaizos tells him to surrender, to which Chaewon swiftly attacks him with the last of his strength. We learn that Chaewon began exploring the tower later than the others begin and therefore does not have any top secret skills. He focuses his attention on one thing, lunging. With a lunge, Chaewon killed many monsters, after which he received this nickname. Lunge was not technically a skill, so it could be used without energy expenditure. Chaewon developed the lunge to the limit. Velkaizos tries to attack Chaewon with icy breath, but Chaewon realizes that he has already seen such an attack on the 98th floor and lunges through the dragon's eye. Having accumulated mana, the dragon uses icy breath, but Chaewon dodges it. Chaewon hears from the dragon about the Nightmare Stone. He is confused, so he retreats out the door. 5 years pass. Chaewon gains the title Conqueror of the 99th floor, which causes his health, damage, and agility to increase. We are shown the scene that caused Chaewon to get everything. He killed Velkaizos. After killing him, Chaewon receives a weapon, the Ice Dragon Sword. Suddenly a passageway to the top floor opens up. Chaewon enters the portal and teleports to the 100th floor, the last floor of the tower. Here he receives a message informing him that he has completed the tutorial. Chengwen is indignant and is greeted by the demon Beastrain. Beastrain is the master of the Tower of the Comshares. He tells Chengwen that no one has ever made it to the 100th floor alone. Beastrain tells Chengwen that he has been trained and there is still the main game. He shows fragments of memories of Chengwen's dead comrades and suggests that he go through the game all over again, keeping all the memories. Chengwen does not intend to go back in time, and then Beastrain tells him that there is no stone that returns to the past. The people who use them are stuck forever in their nightmares. Chengwen guesses that Beastrain is tricking him and refuses to start a new game because he is already in the Tower of Nightmares, and if he kills Beastrain, he will get to the next floor. Chengwen prepares to attack Beastrain, but Beastrain tells him that nothing really happened and everyone is alive. Beastrain explains that time flows differently in the tower. If years have passed in the tower, months have passed outside. We are shown Chengwen returning to the forge and looking for Jay. He begins to repair his armor. It turns out that he has been fighting Beastrain for 72 days, but so far to no avail. We are also told that there are makers, and those who have made it to the top of the tower are called merchandise. The makers see to it that the goods take root in the Great Land through a two-step process of processing. In the first stage, the best seeds are sifted out and it is the tutorial that finds the good goods. In the main game, the seeds begin to flourish. In other words, in the second processing they are given water and fertilizer. Beastrain's goal is to persuade Chengwen to move into the main game in order for him to become a high-end commodity. Beastrain fights with Chengwen and begins to lose his temper as Chengwen does not want to move to the main game. Beastrain tells Chengwen about the multiverse theory. Beastrain says that humans pump up their skills and accumulate items, while demons look after them and influence the game. Chengwen wonders exactly why the Tower of Nightmares appeared on his land. We are shown Chengwen's stats, that he has received the ultimate attainable level. Chengwen sees clots of energy and realizes that they are particles from another world. He remembers the inscription saying that the hosts are sending a message and he asks Beastrain whom the hosts are. He answers that the masters are the rulers of a great land and the winners of the main game can go to them and receive their special patronage. Beastrain says that if you choose a patron, you can change the future. Chengwen agrees to the terms of the main game, but he needs 10 days to prepare. 9 days later, we are shown Chengwen's training. Beastrain watches him and we are shown the scene of Beastrain buying a nightmare tower from a demon. Beastrain shows the instructions of the main game to Chengwen, but when talking, Chengwen attacks Beastrain. Beastrain grabs Chengwen and ties him to the wall. Beastrain has a plan to leave Chengwen in the tower until he automatically moves to the main game. This is where we learn that Beastrain is called a flattering gentleman in the Great Land, is 784 years old, has been to 128 worlds, all the while picking off and killing heroes. Chengwen realizes that he is a commodity to be handed over to a demon nicknamed the Black Lord. Chengwen is freed from his shackles and the battle with Beastrain begins. Chengwen reaches the highest level and unleashes the potential of the Ice Sword. Over a long period, Chengwen has seen clots of energy send him information. He has adapted his lunge and ice sword to deal final damage to Beastrain. In the end, Beastrain was defeated and Chengwen reminds him of the strange writings he encountered on various floors. They mention Mulark, the creator of the tower, and this place is only the root of the Tree of Illusion, and where there is a root, there is a trunk. Chengwen moves to an uncharted place. In an unknown place, Chengwen is met by demons, wolves, and a dragon, who attack him. Chengwen uses a lunge to get rid of them, cutting off the dragon's horn. After dealing with the demons, Chengwen is spotted by insect-like creatures. They want the dragon horn and Chengwen offers them a deal, but they attack. Eventually Chengwen deals with them as well. Leaving one alive, Chengwen tries to find out where they are. Without saying a word, the insect self-destructs. Chengwen rummages through his belongings and finds an item, a small measurement backpack. He also finds a soul stone, a stone that enhances spiritual energy. Chengwen finds a map that shows where he is, the Chaos Tree of Illusions. Chengwen goes on his journey and stumbles upon a group of travelers, led by a red-haired beast, who are fighting demons. One of the travelers gets distracted and the demon starts to attack, but Chengwen jumps up in time to cut him through. An introduction between Chengwen and the travelers takes place. The red-haired girl asks Ch Henwing who he is and where he came from, for there are no men in Chaos who would kill a two-horned demon with one fell swoop. We are taken to Chengwen's memories, which say that his former life has lost meaning, because in the tower he was able to make new friends and create new memories. But after leaving the tutorial, everything is dispelled as if it were an illusion, which means that all his friends live on Earth and do not remember either Chengwen or what happened in the tower. Chengwen pulls the elemental weapons out of his inventory, demonstrating to everyone. The red-haired girl, whose name is Mino, offers Chengwen a deal. Her companions are members of the Red Fox clan and Mino wants Chengwen to kill them. The travelers stay overnight, for it is not safe to travel at night. Chengwen rests in a secluded spot and hears others talk about how his weapons are very valuable in today's world. There is an attack on Chengwen. Mino asks him to kill them, but Chengwen replies that he gave the weapon to one of his opponents. The leader of the Red Fox clan orders an attack on both Chengwen and Mino, at which point Mino demonstrates his strength. Her strength lies in her flying daggers. The battle between Mino and the leader begins. The leader of the Red Fox clan has a weapon of the elements in his hands. we see Mino being surrounded by bandits. We are shown that Mino is a witch of destruction. To the aid of the bandits comes the Black Fox, master of the Red Fox, in the third stage of adaptation. Mino tells Chen Wang that she cannot protect him. In return, Chen Wang offers her a stone to go back in time. Mino refuses, saying she would not want to go back to the past, as it was not sugar-coated for her. Chen rises to help Mino fight the clan. Genwen makes a lunge called the Flash of Oblivion and strikes all opponents. A clan leader kneels and begs for mercy, giving him the weapon of the elements. As everyone starts to scatter, Henwen finishes off the survivors with a lunge of the ice sword. Mino is shocked by his strength. She asks for her return stone, but Chen Wang says she lost it. Trying to find the stone, Mino becomes nervous and asks Henwen who he is. He replies that he is human, just like her. Genwen and Mino return to the Gorgon Citadel. As they walk past the pillar bases, Chen Wang notices that the place looks like a summoning station from the first floor of the tower. Suddenly, Chen Wang sees people in hellish agony begging for help. Mino notices this and says that chaos is the world of the dead. If you die on the Great Earth, you go to chaos. If you die in chaos, you die forever. You become fertilizer for the Tree of Illusion. We are shown officers who have gone after people. One of the officers is named James and he knows Mino. Mino asks James to let them in, but James replies that the situation has changed and you can't get in without a certificate. Mino arranges a barter and gives James a two-horned horn in exchange for the certificate. James agrees to the deal, but asks for the certificate from Chen Wang as well. Henwen is about to give something in return as well, but at that moment stubborn Carlton, the most uncorrupted guardian in all of chaos, shows up. Carlton asks James for a status report and sees that Mino and Henwen don't have a certificate. He talks about how you can't pass without a certificate, it violates the law of the Citadel. The fundamentals of the law are a skill for Carlton, since by engaging it, everyone bends the knee. Carlton notices that the law does not apply to Henwen. Henwen asks about what should be on the certificate. The certificate should include his real name, connection to the clans, class and skill information, health status, legal problem, and the like. Henwen replies that he is not going to identify himself, and then Carlton arrests him with the Silver Light Shackle skill. Henwen breaks the shackles without moving and everyone is surprised. Henwen offers Carlton a deal for a pass to the Citadel and Carlton says he was waiting for him, a messenger of the Greens. Carlton tests Mino for spiritual deterioration and it is 15%, which means in need of medication. Mino explains to Henwen that spiritual spoilage and chaos affects everyone as souls gradually become polluted. Demon horns are considered the only cure and are therefore too valuable. Checking Henwen, no spiritual spoilage can be detected in him. Carlton gives Henwen back his soul stones. Carlton explains to James that Henwen is the only person who can use the soul stone, as his soul is pure in chaos. Henwen and Mino are taken to the Citadel. Henwen asks Mino if she knows of any blacksmith who could work with elemental weapons. At this point, while demonstrating the sword, one of the men spots him. Henwen tries to part ways with Mino and tells her to go her own way, but Mino disagrees. Mino tells her that he knows all the surroundings of the town and knows where to find a good blacksmith, so Genwen agrees to travel with him. Along the way, bandits who have spotted Chen Wang's sword and want to take it away meet them. Junior attacks Chen Wang, but he cuts off his hand. The remnants of the bandits try to attack Chen Wang in droves. After finishing the fight with the bandits and defeating them, Mino asks Changwen how he is so proficient with only the lunge and why the first lunge was a miss. Changwen replies that he saw the invisibility skill on the rooftop and wanted to scare whoever was following him so he wouldn't get in the way. At that point, Mino starts making up cool names for his skills, but Chuanwen replies that it's unnecessary. Henwen and Mino arrive at the Iron Twilight, the largest forge in the Gorgon Citadel. We are introduced to Naveen, an employee of Iron Twilight, and Michael Garnad, the deputy director of the forge. Michael shows off his blacksmithing skills by showing off a sword made of a four-horned horn. His mentors admire him and he announces a contest. Whoever makes the hilt for the sword becomes the deputy for the day. Henwen also takes part in the contest. He makes a hole in the blade and the blade breaks. Michael is furious. He lashes out at Changwen, telling him where he will find such a horn now, for this weapon was meant for the order. Henwen pulls it out of his inventory and offers the five-horned horn, Garnek's horn, as a substitute. James appoints Chenwen deputy director of the Iron Dusk for one day and tells him to use whatever he wants. Chenwen asks for James' help in forging a sheath for the Sword of Ice. Henwen and James begin forging a new weapon, recycling Garnek's horn and ice sword. Meanwhile, in the Citadel, we are introduced to Commander-in-Chief Jurgen Zieber. The adapter who has been tracking Chenwen visits him. Jurgen orders a search of the Citadel. We see that something happens to Jurgen. We are taken to a tavern, where people are watching the news about Juchenvan single-handedly dealing with a demon on the 99th floor. At this point, Mino walks into the tavern and she's in a terrible mood. She wants to get drunk. We are introduced to the owner of the bar, Cleo. Mino and Cleo have a heart-to-heart talk. Mino tells Cleo about her feelings for Chenwen and she doesn't understand what's going on with her. Cleo advises her not to see Chenwen anymore. Suddenly, a phoenix appears in the tavern, bringing a letter from Carlton for Mino. James finds Mino in the tavern and tells her she has business to attend. At this point, in the blacksmith shop, Chenwen and James try to forge a new weapon.